Am I the a-hole for not having my father walk me down the aisle? Plus update. Original post. For context, I am 26 female and my father has never been in the picture. He left the same day I was born, leaving my mother to take care of me. I'm an only child and don't have any family beyond my mother, as they disowned her when she fell pregnant with me when she was 17. She has been the best mom and rocked throughout my whole life, and I'm very thankful to her for that. Now back to the point. Me and my fiancé have been doing wedding planning for a couple of weeks now, deciding on color themes and venues. A week ago, the topic of how the ceremony will be taking place came up, and I told him that my mother will be walking me down the aisle as I have no father figure in my life. Seeing my fiancé is a very traditional man, he sees the idea of my mother walking me down the aisle as not what should happen. He was upset at me saying this and told me I should reconnect with my father so he can give me away, an expression I hate. I told him there is no way I'm reconnecting with someone who never tried to be in my life and ran away from his responsibilities, leaving my mom to raise me. When I said this, it turned into a massive argument and resulted in him storming out and staying at his sister's house. That same day, I received countless calls and messages telling me I'm a horrible person and need to suck it up for one day to be the woman I am and should be. I haven't responded to any of these, and I'm just taking some time to myself before I try talking to him. Yesterday, I found out my fiancé reached out to my father and asked him to meet him in a few days. I am beyond mad and rethinking this whole marriage thing. I have no clue how he found my father, but right now I am with my mom and she's telling me I wasn't right, and he's being a baby reacting like he did. But in my mind, I'm still having thoughts if I'm the a-hole for not wanting to be traditional. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Ooh, ick. Yuck. You would be the a-hole if you marry this guy in his terrible family. Otherwise, not the a-hole. Run, don't walk. Run. Seriously, this is horrible. Hope you love yourself enough to get away from someone so toxic and uncaring about you. Yep, if he's upset about OP daring to go against a traditional view here, just wait until they're married and OP cannot have autonomy or power and ends up the maid that must serve as her husband. Yes, and serve as his family and walk 3 steps behind him. What a toxic culture and family from which he was raised. He's the kind of guy who will likely lay hands on her if he hasn't already. Not the a-hole. Your fiancé sounds like a groomzilla and his family is horrible. You sure you want to marry into this circus? Your mom walking you down the aisle sounds absolutely gorgeous. Neither your fiancé nor his family seems to respect or take you seriously. That would be a deal breaker for me, to be honest. A groomzilla, yes. And also a huge POS for going behind his fiancé's back to contact the father when she has made it clear she wants nothing to do with him. I can't imagine. OP should run and never look back. Not the a-hole. This is the dude you plan to spend your life with. Him and his surrounding cast. Say it out loud to yourself. This other prick is who you are signing up to spend the rest of your life with, and therefore his surrounding cast as well. Say it louder. Are you really going to spend your life with this man? Were you my daughter? You'd be getting some message from me too. Pleading you use your head, not your heart. I thought this as well. If someone treated my daughter this way, I would be helping her pack and move away from him. Would cancel the wedding and instead invite her best friends to go on holiday to celebrate her freedom. Edit. I was just reading through some of the comments and you are all so kind. I will update you soon, lovelies. I'm still trying to process all of this. Now for the update. Hello everyone. I posted 8 hours ago, and since then, I have had time to think about what I really want. I've come to the decision with help from all of you and a person who messaged me, you know who you are, that I will not be going forward with this marriage and will be cutting contact from my ex-fiancé and his family. I've no clue what he will do when he meets up with my father, but I will be having no part of it. I will be keeping this post up so anyone in a similar situation can read the comments, but I will no longer be posting on here and will be keeping my breakup private. I am so grateful for all of you and the support, apart from a select few. I hope all of you have a lovely day. Edit. I will be getting a lawyer just in case, and will be taking precautions to keep safe. I am so relieved to read this update. Please research your options regarding restraining orders, and at the very least, line up a lawyer to prepare a cease and desist letter. Hopefully I'm being unduly cynical, but your soon-to-be ex shows signs of being pretty abusive. Also, do a pregnancy test and do not agree to anything sexual. It definitely fits the criteria for someone who could try to baby trap you. Be careful, OP. If your ex is the kind of man we all think he is, he may react violently to you breaking up with him. Your safety is the most important thing. Don't hesitate to protect yourself. Absolutely this. Be careful and protect yourself. Maybe best if OP is conveniently and constantly near friends or family for a little while, just while that lawyer from the edit is doing whatever it is they're doing. Yesterday I found out my fiancé reached out to my father and asked him to meet him in a few days. Absolutely fascinated by the mental image of them meeting for brunch to discuss a now non-existent wedding. I'm hoping not, but expect that the ex-fiancé may not take the breakup seriously and will meet with a sperm donor to prep for when she gets over her silly ideas. The whole situation is messy, but OP is strong in handling the situation, and props for her on standing her ground and making the right decision. Fathers like OP's dad are useless, and I will never understand their reasoning and logic, but glad OP's mother is on her side. However, OP should be careful now, because with what the ex had pulled and all, ex could do something drastic. Her ex is all about control and thinking he knows better than her. No way is he going to just accept that it's over. He's going to try and strong-arm her into marriage whether she likes it or not. I'm betting it will take a restraining order to keep him away. And even then, it may not be enough. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother if he's going to be late, don't show up? Plus update. Original post. I, 31 female, and my husband, 29 male, got married a week ago. Yay! I spent 2 years planning my wedding, and everything was great. Except for my 36 male brother's tardiness with every event he came to. For context, my brother and I don't get along. Never have. I only invited him for my parents' sake. Also, I was adopted, so he's not biologically related to me. He is always late, and in the past we've had to tell him an event was 2 hours earlier than it really was, so he would be on time. He was late to my high school and college graduation, and missed my walk both times. When I was sending invitations, I put an extra note in his that read as follows. I know Mom, Dad, and I would love for you to attend, but if you're going to be late, don't bother showing up. Your girlfriend and her daughter are welcome to attend with or without you. He called me for the first time in years and cussed me out for the note. I held my ground and said I would still appreciate him coming to the wedding, but I will not allow to interrupt the ceremony by being late. I then called my parents and yelled at them as well. They said it was my wedding and they stood by my decision. He came to the wedding, but he walked in as I was walking down the aisle and walked past me to his seat. I was horrified and embarrassed and mad. I didn't know exactly what I was feeling in the moment, but it was a mixture of things. After the ceremony, my dad and my biological father, who I've become close with over the years since I met him, both spoke to my brother about how that was inappropriate and rude. My brother didn't care and asked where the bar was, but he was forced to leave. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. Why do you continue to allow him to be a part of your life when he's clearly not interested? I get some people are always late to things in life, but showing up late to your wedding, let alone while you were walking down the aisle, was intentional. Sometimes family doesn't deserve to be family. It's one of the many reasons we don't get along. He blames me ruining a single kid fantasy because our parents chose to adopt me. My dad is an attorney and heard about my situation when I was 6 and adopted me. He said I ruined his life. Girl, kick him to the curb. He's not worth a life full of drama he will constantly cause. Do your parents know he has said stuff like this to you? No, I never told them. I don't want to feel like they have to choose between their kids. My brother to remind that he is their son. I'm not their daughter, just some kid they took pity on. But I never saw it that way. Not the a-hole. People who are always late are narcissistic a-holes. They do not care about your time. They only care about themselves. In my opinion, you never should have invited him, knowing what he is like. I only invited him because my parents said the photos with the whole family would be nice. And did you get the photos, or was he kicked out before they happened? He was kicked out before photos were taken. And the photographer stopped taking photos when he walked in, so the shots weren't ruined. He made the effort to be late and walked past the bride during the processional. It's perfectly reasonable to be angry. OP, I know it's too late for you, but I would advise anyone else in your position to have people who can bar entrance, at least until key moments, like the processional, are finished. Just to be clear, he was thrown out before he could raid the open bar? Lol. He was pulled away from the bar as he was ordering a drink. Now for the update. As a lot of people in the comments on the original post said, I told my parents everything. How my brother has told me that I ruined a single child fantasy, how my parents pitied me and that's why they adopted me, how I'll never be a member of the family, etc. I also told them that if I host any events at my home/ranch, that I will be hosting Christmas this year since I have the space for the whole family, biological and adopted, my brother will not be invited. I do not want him in my life anymore. The event at my wedding was the final straw. I will be civil if we see each other at family functions that I'm not hosting, but I will not be in contact with him anymore, unless there is an emergency with our parents. My parents support and understand my position. I told them that this is not me making them choose between us, and this is just me drawing a line in the sand and setting a boundary. I love my parents. They saved me from a horrible situation and gave me the best life I could have hoped for. If not for them, I wouldn't have my beautiful daughter, wouldn't have met my husband, or have my amazing ranch. My ranch hands, Lloyd in particular, said that if my brother ever attempted to come onto the ranch without my knowledge, they would boot him fast. Of course, his girlfriend and daughter are welcome anytime. I want to thank everyone for the support and kind comments and helping me see that he does not treat me like family. And I should stop trying to extend the olive branch since it keeps burning it. He literally walked past the bride on her way up the aisle? That's a special kind of self-centered and selfish. That was 100% intentional. He meant it as a straight-up middle finger. Definitely, especially as his family were seated on time. I assume they arrived together and then he ran an errand or some such nonsense. Being an adopted child can be challenging, especially if the parents already had one child. Sometimes we'll get along and some don't. With what has happened, it's clear that Opie and a brother have no chances to fix the relationship between each other. And at this point, going low contact is the better choice for Opie. It's good that Opie has made boundaries settled with, and the parents are respectful of Opie's decisions. Opie said she only invited a brother because of her parents. I kinda wish Opie had security, or the ranch hands acting as security, to not let latecomers in. Given what she already knew of her brother, she should have realized that telling him to be on time or don't come at all was begging him to pull his stunt like he did. She definitely should have had somebody at the door to keep him out. Honestly, I don't think her actions did or could have changed his behavior. He would have pulled this even if she hadn't said anything and just invited him. Even if she'd just invited his wife and daughter. Even if she'd told them all to stay home and try to keep him from finding out where and when the wedding even was. Weird upside here is that now no one will question Opie's boundaries because they've seen how far the brother will go. And people did deal with it swiftly in the moment. Last story. Am I the a-hole for wanting my future sister-in-law pay for a replacement wedding dress after she modernized the first one? I, 24 female, am engaged to my fiancé Adrian, 25 male. I just managed to lock out and purchase a vintage wedding dress for about $1,200 from a lovely older woman who was selling it on eBay. I have a future sister-in-law, Selena, 22 female, who I let store the dress in her own home, while Adrian and I deep cleaned our closet so it didn't get damaged and wasn't hanging around for anyone besides immediate family or close friends to see. Yesterday, Adrian and I went to go pick up the dress since we were done cleaning out our closet. I was so excited to have it back and was planning on showing it to my mother. To my shock and horror, Selena had, in her own words, modernized the dress while it was at her place. She had gutted it. It was now essentially a mini dress with barely any resemblance to what it was previously. I freaked out at her, saying she had no right to do that to my wedding dress and that she had ruined it. Selena complained, saying that it was a surprise and supposed to be a pre-wedding/engagement gift. Selena tried to get Adrian to defend her, but he sided with me and said she completely and utterly overstepped, which surprised me because he's pretty protective of her. We left without the dress and Selena muttering about how she did me a favor. It was later that night when I got the idea to make her pay for another wedding dress. There was another dress that I had been eyeing that cost a bit less, but I chose the other dress over it. I talked about it with my fiancé and he agreed that Selena should pay for the dress since she ruined the first one. I sent the link to the dress to Selena over text and I asked her to pay for it. Selena texted back saying that she wouldn't pay for the replacement dress and that I should be fine with wearing the first one or paying for the replacement dress myself. We argued over text for a while before Selena just stopped responding and left me on read. This morning I checked my phone and saw a voicemail from my future mother-in-law saying that Selena shouldn't have to pay for the replacement and that alterations she made were a sweet gift. I asked Adrian about it, and he said that I should stick to my plans of making Selena pay for it. But now that my future mother-in-law is involved, I'm reconsidering it. Am I the a-hole? What the heck? Who alters someone's wedding dress without being asked to? She should definitely pay for a new dress. If future mother-in-law thinks it was a good idea, she should buy you a new dress. Seamstresses and tailors who alter a wedding dress will have multiple phone calls, measurements, sketches, just to make sure it's correct. And they know what they're doing. It's their job. You don't ever mess with a wedding dress. Small claims, no wedding invite for the future sister-in-law. If mother-in-law doesn't like though, you could just not invite her to for less drama. I agree. This is a situation where your new family's showing their butts, and it's your job to show you aren't gonna wipe them. Take her to small claims that don't give in. Personally, this is one of those cases I would actually have turned on my TV to watch on Judge Judy. Could you imagine the snark? Why is he making you talk to her? Make him get the money from her. This isn't a battle you can win though. With future mother-in-law backing her up, she will never pay up, and you will be the ungrateful witch wanting money. Make your fiancé get your dress.